Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Transformers Lore, the Dark Spark. We've talked about it a number of times, mostly because of the cosmically important role it had in bringing the Union cluster back into the multiverse. But there is one question we have not answered yet. Where did the Dark Spark come from? What is its origin? And the answer, my dear viewers, is... well, the answer is nobody knows. But we have a few theories from people in-universe, albeit with very little for the theorist to go on beyond simple conjecture. You see, even Vector Prime of the 13 himself did not know the origin of the Dark Spark. But, while feeling compelled to give a few guesses off, he provided us with 6 different ideas about how the Dark Spark might have been created. The first theory is that the Dark Spark is a sort of matrix that contains focused Engelmann's energy. We've briefly covered Engelmann's energy before, but Engelmann's energy is the essence of the multiversal singularity Unicron, given physical form. Engelmann's energy is a substance the Transformers across the multiverse would have to deal with time and time again, and the multiversal nature of the Engelmann's energy could explain how the Dark Spark is able to pass through universes on its own. The second theory is that the Dark Spark contains a fragment of the D-Void. If you haven't heard of the D-Void, then here's the Cliff Notes version. There once was a pocket dimension within the universe of the IDW Generation 1 comics, which had its energy sucked away at the beginning of its conception by Shockwave with the power of his Regenesis ores. This resulted in the dimension becoming known as the Dead Universe, a reality that consumed the energies of all who entered it, tying that being seemingly forever within it. Among the people who fell victim to the Dead Universe were the likes of the IDW Universe's Nova Prime, later known as Nemesis Prime, Galvatron, Cyclonus, Geoxys, and more. The Dead Universe itself developed an evil sentience known simply as the D-Void, and it was the D-Void who used Nemesis Prime and later Galvatron as a pawn to open up a portal to consume the IDW universe. Of course, these plans failed, and the Dead Universe ultimately collapsed. The Dark Spark's necromantic powers can be explained by the fragment of Dead Universe energy, but other questions emerge as to how a fragment of the D-Void came to be inside its casing. The third theory is that the Dark Spark was once a matrix of leadership that was corrupted by Violin Jiger, who unleashed the device as a weapon against the multiverse. If you are unfamiliar with Violin Jiger was created by the Vok, after they fused together the spirits of fallen dead Decepticon soldiers. His origin is actually fairly long and draws a lot upon Transformers lore, and also was only revealed fairly recently, so I'll explain his origins in another video. Nevertheless, Violin Jiger has shown interest in a lot of different forms of energies, so it wouldn't be all that surprising if the Dark Spark was indeed one of his experiments. Violin Jiger has also been hinted at having interest in the technology of other realities, as Vector Prime suspected that he had technology from the GoBots Gargant universe. The fourth theory is that the Dark Spark is the essence of some version of the Predacon Megatron. In another universe where Megatron was not defeated by Optimus Primal and the Maximals in the Spark War, the Dark Spark could have been Megatron's endgame, with the full assimilation of all Cybertronian sparks. Personally, I think this might be one of the least credible guesses, due to the leap in logic that the assimilation of all sparks would lead to the Dark Spark with multiversal and necromantic abilities. The fifth theory is that the Dark Spark is a fragment of Mortalis. Mortalis was a member of the Guiding Hand in the IDW universe. While there were different versions of Mortalis in the multiverse, they emerged after the Shroud. The Dark Spark clearly predates the Shroud, meaning the fragment of Mortalis is likely the Mortalis of the IDW Generation 1 universe. Mortalis was known throughout Cybertronian pop culture as a sort of evil god who once stood with the Guiding Hand before turning against them, as you can see in my Guiding Hand video. However, it was later revealed that Mortalis was actually an innocent deity, now going by the name of the Necrobot, or Censor. As a result, the idea that the Dark Spark is a fragment of the Necrobot seeking to create destruction throughout the multiverse really doesn't make sense. The sixth theory is that the Dark Spark was a tool or weapon created by the Ebon Knights. We've spoken about the Ebon Knights before as servants to the Elder Gods who live in the Bleed, the realm between universes. We know very, very little about the Ebon Knights, but the Dark Spark certainly wouldn't be out of character for them, and would explain both the necromantic and multiversal abilities of the Dark Spark. The dimension hopping Sideways also claimed that the Dark Spark was created when he forgot to shut off a negacore he was guarding one time. A negacore is a device that is tuned in to access the dead universe. However, Sideways is a very unreliable narrator, and in this situation it's probably better if we just ignore him. So, those are Vector Prime's theories about the origin of the Dark Spark. Since we'll ultimately never know the true origin of the Dark Spark, which one sounded most credible to you? Or do you have a different idea as to how the Dark Spark came about? Let me know in the comments below. While you're here, consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see this channel continue. Subscribe if you have not yet, and follow me on social media in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Huge thanks to our patrons, including this month's $10 plus patron, Josh Adkins. Check out the description for more patrons and more info about how you can receive a shout out here.